tangible weight. The expanded relatives had assembled for an unscheduled meal to aid us through Dad's wellness alarm. I sat at the known table, observing Mom opposite me, and for the first time, I couldn't refer to her as Mom. When I requested her to hand the seasoning, her given name emerged instead, Linda. The whole table fell quiet. Utensils ceased motion. All stared at me, as if I'd violated a sacred rule. My central brother shattered the quiet first, clearing his throat uneasily and shifting the topic. Later, he drew me aside in the storage area. I could perceive the struggle in his gaze, as he confessed he thought something was amiss, but couldn't permit me to reside with him. His spouse was Mom's closest pal's offspring. Their complete community network circled our broadened relatives. Supporting me would jeopardize his union. He embraced me, murmured, "I'm regretful," and returned inside to his expecting spouse. The following days merged in a cycle of increasing dominance and communal shame. Mom's faith appeal at worship about her problematic child disseminated through the assembly like flames. Community members who'd recognized me since youth began handling me differently, avoiding me on walks. The youth leader messaged proposing discussion if I needed aid with dependency problems. When I inquired what dependency, he mentioned Mom had noted I was battling with materials, which clarified my unpredictable conduct. Mom's subsequent action was brilliant in its straightforwardness. She displayed a relative's schedule where the outdoor trip was unmarked. Per her account, I'd been mistaken about the timings and had intentionally opted to skip Emma's event from malice. She informed all about the outdoor trip being set for the next period. The reality that 6 of my pals could confirm the real timings didn't count because Mom had already persuaded all I'd influenced them. Emma's top pal's parent approached Mom post-worship, proposing to compose Emma's university endorsement note. But she noted requiring Mom's assistance with the forthcoming Parent Association leadership vote. Mom consented right away, then gazed at me with contentment. The implication was evident: select her alignment or observe Emma's prospects decline. Every bond, every link in our modest community flowed through Mom's meticulously preserved connections. The monetary dominance strengthened when I attempted to reach my financial account. The clerk, who'd known me since I established the account at 14, informed me regretfully that it was truly a guardian account. Only Mom could approve removals from the education savings she'd been placing my earnings into. 3 years of occasional labor, thousands of funds I'd gained myself, secured under her authority. Mom reinterpreted my premature return from outdoors as additional proof of unsteadiness. A typical individual would have remained the complete period, she informed any listener. Returning early demonstrated I was erratic and couldn't complete intentions. The fact that I'd returned due to her desperate notes was easily disregarded. In her account, I deserted my pals just as I deserted my relatives. The proposal of relatives' guidance arrived packaged in phony worry. Mom had already conversed with her counselor acquaintance, who focused on distressed youth. This counselor, who'd never encountered me, evidently already possessed views about my notice-seeking habits and indie problems concerning Emma. The initial meeting was arranged without my contribution. When I declined to attend, Mom exhaled theatrically and informed all I was opposed to aid, further verifying how distressed I was. Mom began participating in all my athletic sessions, arriving ahead to converse with the instructor about her worries. She delivered homemade treats for the group, referenced my prior messages about feeling pressured before matches, and proposed to assist arrange funding activities. The instructor, who'd always commended my commitment, started observing me uniquely. During session, he drew me aside to talk about my domestic circumstances and recommended I might gain from pausing to concentrate on my psychological wellness. The influence spread to every aspect of my existence. Mom connected with the guardians of my group members, exchanging her concerns over beverages post-session. She distorted harmless recollections into proof of unsteadiness. The occasion I had grown irritated during a defeat series became evidence of my temper control problems. My commitment to additional practice sessions morphed into compulsive actions in her narrative. One day, Mom and I talked about my absence from Emma's event. She maintained I had worn to spoil her birthday when I referenced a timing clash. In her account, I'd been hostile and resentful. My real statements had been remorseful, clarifying the outdoor trip was already organized. But Mom's assurance made me doubt my own recall. She communicated with such confidence that even I questioned if I'd been more antagonistic than I recollected. While hunting for my birth record in the upper storage, I found my youth journal concealed in a container of old academic documents. Scanning pages covered in 7-year-old script, I located an entry that halted my respiration. Mom favors Emma over me. In the side, Mom had inscribed, "Counselor," in crimson ink. She'd known my feelings even then, and had regarded it as an issue to resolve, instead of a habit to alter. My 4-year-old relative Lily passed an afternoon with Mom, while her guardians attended a ceremony. When they came back, Lily dashed to her parent and declared that Jake was ill. She clarified that Aunt Linda said I had issues in my mind, and all needed to be particularly kind to me, because I couldn't prevent being unkind at times. Her naive repetition of Mom's statements showed how the storyline extended even to relatives too youthful to challenge it. Nathan assisted me in accessing our entry, monitoring footage from the evening of Emma's event. The timing indicated Mom on the entry veranda precisely 1 hour after I departed, informing incoming visitors that I had opted to forsake my relatives. She wiped at unmoist eyes while describing how I had always been resentful of Emma, and couldn't tolerate her having one unique evening. The display was impeccable, complete with quivering tone and precisely timed breaks for compassion. Mom's next intensification came as official papers. She submitted for an urgent guardianship review, asserting I was an unsteady effect on Emma. The documents outlined events that never occurred, discussions warped beyond identification, and worries about my worsening psychological condition. She desired the judiciary to decide if I should have monitored interactions with my younger kin, and whether I presented a danger to Emma's welfare. I utilized Mom's online shopping profile to review purchase records, seeking birthday gifts across the years. The outcomes affirmed what I'd always presumed. Emma's birthdays displayed numerous acquisitions: collectible dolls, accessory containers, branded apparel, gadgets. My birthdays were empty gaps with sporadic rushed inclusions. The search field suggestions disclosed Mom's latest queries, including present for Emma's actual birthday, suggesting mine was something distinct. Examining the subtleties of Mom's online presence history uncovered years of preparation. Posts about my challenges emerged as early as intermediate education. She distributed pieces about difficult offspring, and when one offspring requires more focus. Responses from acquaintances provided sympathy for her difficulties with her challenging child, while commending her commitment to both kids. The communal storyline had been meticulously built long before I realized a tale was being narrated. The relatives' counselor Mom selected specialized in distressed youth, and had already shaped views before our initial meeting. Dr. Patricia Reeves inquired about my bitterness toward Emma, and my habits of seeking attention. When I attempted to describe discovering the adoption documents, she shifted the discussion to my emotions of envy, and proposed I was inventing stories to handle typical brother-sister competition. The meeting wasn't counseling. It was in questioning crafted to validate Mom's account of the situation. I tried to capture Mom's spoken mistreatment during an especially severe talk about shaming the relatives. She noticed my device right away, and altered her demeanor as if turning a dial. Her sharp voice turned caring and soft. She questioned why I was taping her attempting to assist me, implied the suspicion was another sign of my problems, and pondered vocally if I was experiencing illusions of being targeted. The shift was so thorough, it caused me to question my own view of the prior few minutes. Collecting my youngest sibling from school turned into another tool in Mom's collection. She registered me as not permitted at his primary institution, describing to the staff that I was dealing with some individual matters and shouldn't interact with any of the kids. The office assistant, who'd recognized me since I was in early grades, gazed at me with sympathy when I showed up to collect him for his dental visit. Guards led me away, while my 8-year-old sibling observed in bewilderment. Brew, the manner in which it demonstrates how far this routine extends with that journal note is truly clever. Discovering Mom favors Emma over me, penned by a 7-year-old with Mom's notation about counseling in the Edge, informs us this isn't fresh conduct, but something that's persisted for more than 10 years. Dad's supervisor, a close acquaintance who went to our place of worship, recommended Dad pause work to address our household emergency. Mom had stopped by during midday, weeping as she detailed how my actions were impacting all, particularly Dad's condition. She depicted an image of a household in turmoil due to one distressed child. Dad couldn't risk unemployment, but the demand to manage me grew stronger. He began evading me at the residence, opting for harmony over dispute. I observed troubling shifts in Mom's actions toward Emma. She now rested in Emma's sleeping area most evenings to soothe her. During this tough period, she took Emma's outfits, applied her scent, and arranged her locks identically. The lines between parent and child faded as Mom appeared to adopt Emma's persona. Emma seemed more uneasy, but lacked knowledge on setting limits without activating Mom's sentimental influence. Mom presented me a proposal during an uncommon instant alone in the cooking space. She would dismiss the entire matter if I openly expressed regret to Emma and confessed I was experiencing difficulties. She desired me to accept blame for spoiling the celebration, recognize my envy concerns, and vow to seek assistance. In return, she'd halt the guardianship assessment and free some funds from my education savings. The proposal arrived packaged in worry, but the warning was evident. When I rejected her arrangement, Mom distorted it into proof of my unsteadiness. At the following relatives' meal, she wept as she informed all how I wouldn't even express sorrow to my sibling. She portrayed providing aid to advance me, but I was too arrogant or too ill to embrace support. The kin nodded disapprovingly at my obstinacy. Emma remained quiet, aware of the reality, but caught between devotion to me and dread of Mom's response. Examining the celebration specifics uncovered additional falsehoods. The location agreement indicated a reservation for 50 attendees, not the 200 Mom asserted. The food service was basic, the adornments plain. My non-attendance hadn't wrecked some magnificent show. It had provided Mom a storyline to utilize. She converted a standard birthday gathering into a disaster, with me portrayed as the antagonist who demolished Emma's unique occasion. Emma and I uncovered Mom's keepsake container while hunting for holiday ornaments in the lower level. Within were skin images, infant garments, and medical bands, all timed the same period as our adoption. Mom had been readying for a girl prior to knowing we were there. The pink baby room, the female-centered arrangements, it all clarified. She forfeited her natural girl and promptly searched for a substitute. I was simply an undesired extra in her recovery journey. Mom's social media recollections disclosed years of updates honoring Emma's successes, while overlooking mine. Emma's involvement award in performance earned a picture collection and extensive commendation. My regional title in sports wasn't referenced. Emma's B+ evaluations were evidence of her diligence and resolve. My perfect grades and elite academic group entry remained unrecognized. The electronic record displayed an obvious routine of chosen focus and created stories. My grandma confronted an unfeasible decision when I requested to reside with her. She confessed she'd observed the bias through the years, but felt unable to step in. Yet, accepting me would signify forfeiting connection to her other descendants. Mom had clarified that backing me meant selecting factions. Grandma provided me food and a listening ear, but not housing. She picked impartiality to preserve her regular meals with the entire relatives. I resolved to employ Mom's own methods against her. During a session with the institution advisor about my university submissions, I voiced worry about Mom's sentimental balance after Dad's medical stay. I referenced her resting in Emma's sleeping area, her rising unease, and her obsession with directing the household storyline. The advisor recorded details, assuring to follow up with Emma regarding the domestic circumstances. Mom had instructed me that appearance counted more than facts. The cafe meeting was meticulously planned. I knew Mom's reading group convened there every Tuesday at 10. I appeared at 10:15, requested my regular beverage, and initiated a chat with Mom's acquaintance Catherine by the register. When she questioned about Emma's gathering, I nonchalantly noted how challenging it must be for Mom to handle the adoption milestone annually. Catherine's puzzlement was authentic as she inquired about adoption, having always thought we were natural twins. I expressed regret for the confusion and departed, leaving Mom to clarify. While Mom managed the reading group consequences, I examined her electronic mail for exchanges with the adoption organization. Her code was Emma's birthday, foreseeable and revealing. In her outgoing section, I located years of interaction with the organization, including latest demands for records. She'd possessed my natural mother's details throughout, stored under avoid contact, with official warnings included. The proof of her trickery was immense. Mom's distant sibling Marcus showed up at our entrance. Having learned of the household conflict via shared kin, he proposed to intervene, showing himself as an unbiased individual desiring to assist. But his true motive clarified when he referenced their parents' property and unsettled legacy matters. He perceived a chance to use our household emergency for his own monetary benefit. Mom hesitantly allowed him entry, aware his attendance complicated her dominance. The rivaling emergencies resulted in me skipping my university funding discussion. While handling Dad's health visits and protecting myself from Mom's claims, the timing slipped by unseen. The message labeling me as absent for the complete support chance came as I remained in another relative's counseling meeting. For years of scholarly superiority ruined by 3 weeks of household disorder. Mom conveyed compassion that seemed like contentment. I learned my education savings had been depleted when I attempted to cover test preparation supplies. The financial record displayed major removals for relatives' counseling and Emma's birthday costs. $18,000 gathered over 3 years of occasional labor vanished. Mom defended it as essential costs triggered by my conduct. She'd expended my prospects to fund the emergency she'd generated. The market clash was Mom's most communal display yet. She located me arranging items at my occasional employment and vocally expressed concern about my psychological state before colleagues and shoppers. She outlined my latest actions, her worries for my prospects, and her urgency to obtain me aid. My superior observed from the workspace as Mom generated a spectacle that would be talk for weeks. Career standing became another victim of her efforts. Guardians from my mentoring position began withdrawing meetings. News had circulated via Mom's faith network about my household issues and unsteady conduct. One guardian directly declared they couldn't risk their kids' security. 3 years of establishing a name as a dependable mentor wrecked by murmured worries and faith appeals. Earnings, I urgently required, disappeared with each remorseful withdrawal. My residence circumstances turned wandering as Mom redesigned my space for Emma's stress. I rotated between pals' homes, exhausting greetings and stressing bonds. Each pal's guardians ultimately learned of my situation via the modest community rumor system. Offers grew hesitant, visits briefer, until I was alternating between Nathan's lower level and my vehicle. Mom informed all I had selected to depart the residence instead of embrace aid. Dad's limit arrived during an especially strained meal. He appeared worn out, age beyond his age, and ultimately voiced what Mom had been urging him toward. He requested me to simply express regret so we could achieve harmony. He addressed me as child, but implied issue. He detailed how I was ruining my parent, dividing our relatives, generating wellness problems and economic pressure. The individual who'd educated me to defend myself now pleaded for me to yield. My exploration into the adoption triggered unforeseen secondary harm. Mr. Morrison, my advanced studies instructor who'd been aiding my research, encountered inquiries from management about his improper concern in a pupil's household matter. His 7-year-old girl questioned why father was in difficulty at employment. His partner prohibited additional interaction with me, generating strain in their partnership. He'd solely desired to aid a pupil he trusted, and I'd introduced disorder to his entrance. The burden of injuring blameless individuals who'd attempted to assist me was overwhelming. Mrs. Chen from the Resource Center, who'd aided me obtain adoption files. Coach Henderson, who'd composed endorsement notes prior to Mom's meddling. The institution advisor who'd supported me. Each encountered examination or results for their link with the distressed youth. I persisted in seeking the facts, but the expense in connections and names increased daily. Emma located me in Nathan's storage space one night, appearing tinier than her 18 years. She posed a query that struck profoundly. What if Mom was correct, and I was merely wounded about the gathering? What if this entire adoption tale was my brain's method of clarifying why I sensed unloved? For an instant, I couldn't reply. The psychological manipulation had been so complete, so steady, that even I pondered if I was generating a plot where only preference was present. I resolved to seize direction of the storyline via online platforms. On a photo-sharing site, I shared a balanced declaration, recognizing that I had sensed overlooked during upbringing, but insisting that the adoption narrative was accurate. I didn't assault Mom or distribute private files. Instead, I requested room to handle complex household interactions. The update was captured and circulated, altered and re-explained, becoming proof of both my unsteadiness and my influence, based on who distributed it. My methodical hunt through Dad's storage units uncovered the decisive evidence. 3 plain packets marked, official settled, held correspondence from my natural mother covering years, all unsealed, all stored away. Mom had obtained them, retained them, but never examined them. The sender locations indicated my natural mother had relocated several times, always remaining within travel range. She'd been attempting contact, while Mom constructed barriers of official warnings and quiet. Mom's attorney submitted an urgent request for a protection order, asserting I was bothering the relatives and generating a hostile setting. The file aimed to prohibit me from the residence, restrict my interaction with younger kin, and block me from reaching relatives' records. I had 72 hours to reply, 72 hours to locate official aid with no funds and a name in ruins. The framework Mom had maneuvered for 18 years was now directed at me. During a relatives gathering organized by Marcus, Mom disclosed a varied viewpoint on our common past. She outlined years of attempting to connect with me, extending only to be dismissed. In her narrative, I'd always withdrawn, evoked memories of the girl she'd forfeited, caused her to sense like a disappointment as a parent. Her sorrow appeared authentic, mixed with ownership over Emma and bitterness of my presence. The facts were intricate. A mourning female compelled to nurture an undesired kid who mirrored her forfeiture. Mom's sibling Sarah turned into an unforeseen vulnerability. She'd battled with dependency in her 20s, a hidden fact Mom had revealed to me during an uncommon instant of openness. I'd vowed never to inform anyone. But now, confronting official proceedings and relatives' banishment, I had to select between preserving secrets and endurance. I informed Sarah I might need to address relatives' background in judiciary, including her history. The warning was subtle: back mom in chance revelation, or remain impartial. The Jake who'd maintained relatives' confidences, who'd safeguarded others' emotions above his own requirements, was fading. Tactical Jake arose from need. I analyzed mom's routines, predicted her actions, learned to record all. The element about the unsealed correspondence from Jake's natural mother being stored under official settled is especially revealing about how mom has been directing data throughout every crucial document, capturing the dates, addresses, and contents on my phone for safekeeping. Those letters became my leverage, proof that mom had deliberately hidden my birth mother's attempts to connect over the years. With Marcus stirring up old family tensions, I finally contacted a pro bono legal aid service through the school counselor, who connected me with an attorney specializing in family disputes and adoption cases. The lawyer reviewed my photos and advised me to file for emancipation, given I was 18, to gain independence from mom's financial and emotional control. The court hearing was scheduled quickly due to the emergency motion mom had filed. I prepared meticulously, gathering statements from Nathan, Emma, and even my history teacher, who risked his position to testify about my stability and the research we'd done. Emma's testimony was pivotal. She broke down on the stand, admitting she'd always seen the favoritism and confirming the adoption papers we'd found together. The judge reviewed the unopened letters, the discrepancies in family records, and the video from the hospital where mom muttered about never wanting me. The teenager's recording had gone viral in our small town after he posted it anonymously, shifting public opinion and exposing mom's theatrics. In a surprising twist during the proceedings, my birth mother appeared in court, having been notified by my lawyer after I finally returned her call. Her name was Rebecca, and she revealed she'd been searching for both twins, not just me. The package deal wasn't just about adoption policy, it turned out Emma and I shared more than biology. Rebecca had given us up due to financial hardship, but had rebuilt her life as a successful therapist. The real shock came when DNA tests, ordered by the court, confirmed not only our relation to Rebecca, but also that mom's lost baby had been a stillbirth caused by complications she'd never fully processed, leading to her obsessive attachment to Emma as a replacement. The judge ruled in my favor, granting emancipation and ordering mom to repay my college fund with interest from family assets. More importantly, she mandated family therapy, not the biased kind mom had arranged, but neutral sessions focused on healing. Mom's facade cracked in court. She admitted her grief had blinded her to fair parenting, tearfully apologizing for the first time without manipulation. It wasn't instant forgiveness, but it opened a door. With emancipation, I moved in temporarily with Rebecca, who lived in a cozy home filled with books and warmth. She introduced me to half-siblings I'd never known, and we began building a real family bond. Emma visited often, escaping mom's smothering, and we grew closer as true equals, planning our futures together. Dad recovered from his health scare, and with Marcus's mediation resolving the inheritance, he started standing up to mom, attending therapy willingly. The good ending came with an unexpected twist. Among the unopened letters was one from years ago, containing a small trust fund Rebecca had set up for us, matured now, to cover college fully. I enrolled in university on a baseball scholarship, studying psychology to help others like me. Emma pursued art, free from expectations. Mom, through genuine therapy, began to change, sending tentative messages of pride in my achievements. The family wasn't perfect, but it was honest. For the first time, I felt seen, not as a price paid or as shadow, but as Jake, worthy of love on my own terms.
Like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell for more crazy twists and wild stories from Reddit Tales Times. This is your channel, where you care, you watch, and you keep coming back for more. So stay tuned, stay curious, and as always, Keep watching.